G'day mates, to kick off today's video, I want to talk about the new competitive blog post. When is ranked resetting? What are the new tournaments and what is going on with the new scoring format? Because it is very, very different. For example, you are now gaining points for capturing caches and opening vaults. We also had our first official tournament of the season today, the Evaluation Cup. I want to talk about how that played out and also some rumors and leaks that we are going to get some mobility added to the season very, very soon. Also, we have a whole bunch of team swaps. We have Cold and Acorn splitting up after winning FNCS, and what does this mean for their global championship spot? Because we have another team that's just decided to split up, and one of the players is deciding to hold the other player hostage and not releasing them, so they are forced to play with them for the rest of the year. There's a lot going on. Let's jump into it. Yes, I know I look a little bit different. I had to shave my head. I did a crazy stream for the new season. Let's just move on from that to more important things. The ranked reset. When is ranked resetting? It is going to reset this season in the first update. Now, we don't exactly know when that update is. A lot of people were hoping it was going to be today, but that is only a week into the new season. We almost never have updates this quickly, so it looks like the earliest it could possibly be is actually next week. We also have tournaments starting next week though, so I don't know if Epic Games are just going to reduce the qualification spots to get into those tournaments once they reset ranks, or whether they're just going to only give you a few days to get to that rank before they start. The tournament ranks required to play this season is not incredibly highly. I'll talk about that later in the video, but for all of you guys freaking about ranked, when's it resetting, it's going to be soon. They have also said they are going to be working on fixing the ranked mode. It's now going to be harder to rank up. Your rank up is going to be different as well. You're not going to get straight into platinum off playing a single game, so maybe it will actually be a little bit harder to rank up for these new tournaments. So keep an eye out for when it resets. As soon as I know, I'll make a video about it. Let's talk about all the different tournaments we have this season and what rank you're going to need to play in them. So we have the FNCS Community Cup, which is going to happen right before FNCS, which is July 20th. You're going to need bronze to play in that, so super easy. The Duos Fill Cup, you're only going to need to be silver to play. Zero Build Duos Fill Cup, you're also going to need to be in silver. For the Solo Victory Cash Cup, you're going to need to be gold. For the Zero Build Duo Victory Cash Cup, so no longer trios, you're going to also need to be gold. For the regular Duos Cash Cup, you're going to need to be gold, and then for the Console Champions Cup and FNCS, you're going to need to be platinum. So again, not incredibly hard for most players, but as they talked about in the most recent blog post, you're not just going to rank up straight into platinum off one game. So once we see the new rank system, this might actually be a little bit harder for people, but I imagine for the most part, getting these ranks should be pretty easy for most of you. As you probably figured out from that, the only difference in tournaments this season is we have a Duos Victory Zero Build Cup instead of trios. Everything else seems to be the same. All the formats and dates and times, as far as I can see, seem to be the same. It looks like they are moving Duo Cash Cups when FNCS is on, so they haven't given them a specific day, but they are running on Fridays and Saturdays until FNCS starts, in which case they are now moving them. So it looks like pretty much everything is the same as last season as far as tournaments go. The major change they have made to the tournament is the point format. It looks like you are now going to gain points for mid-game objectives. They mentioned this in the PlayStation Cup. If you open a combat cache, you're going to gain 3 points. If you open a vault, you're going to gain 3 points. And if you capture a rifting in POI, so the rift island that spawns in with the flag on it, you're going to get 15 points. That is insane. Now, a lot of people saw this, myself included, and thought this meant it was going to be in the Duo Cash Cup and FNCS as well. But if you check right now in the compete tab in the formats, it looks like this is only in certain tournaments like the PlayStation Cup. So we don't know whether this is going to become a regular thing in these major tournaments. Maybe after evaluating it in the PlayStation Cup, they might actually decide to implement them. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Are you excited for this? I can see some pros and cons. I think what they're going for here is they really want to see more engagement around the early and mid game. They want to give more objectives that directly gain you points, which make them riskier to go for, and therefore are going to create more fights. This will hopefully lead to games being a little bit less stacked than they currently are, which will take some pressure off the servers, but also make the game more enjoyable to watch. Epic does always care about viewership, and if everyone's just boxed up all game not fighting, it gets a little bit boring, and that's why they made these changes last season. The reason why they added the Rift Island and making the vault spawn in later, getting the key card later, was to try to create those engagements around that early to mid game period. I'm guessing they figured that players weren't fighting enough over the vaults or the Rift Islands, so they're making them worth even more. Now, getting the Rift Island being worth 15 points in certain formats, that's 15 eliminations. Should it be worth that much? I don't really know, but I mean, it's going to be worth fighting over, and I imagine it's going to be a very, very crazy engagement. It also leads to having those big comeback games. If you really need a massive game, you can W key as hard as you can on spawn. You can get the cash, get the vault, that's 6 points. Let's say you get 5 eliminations, that's 11 points. You then go to the rifting in POI, you get a few more eliminations, you get 15 points. You use those items, then go on and win the game, and you've just gotten like a 150, 200 point game, which would be kind of crazy to see. We also got a major update on the competitive banning system. If you guys weren't following last and you somehow missed it, Clix got banned for 14 days, and it raised the question, is he going to be able to play next FNCS? Because the rule as it used to stand was if you got banned for 14 days, you were banned from the current FNCS and the next one. They have now updated this. If you get banned for 14 days, you are only banned from the FNCS that's going on currently, or if you get banned between FNCSs, you're only banned for the next one. So because Clix was ineligible from playing last FNCS, this information now means he is currently able to play this FNCS this season, and it looks like those will be the rules for everybody going forward. Let's talk about the current state of competitive Fortnite. We had the Evaluation Cup today on EU, the first official in-game tournament, and there's a few things I picked up. It is currently a no mobility meta. There are no vehicles in competitive, they're only in pubs and ranked. And even still with this, it is going to heal off. A lot of the games and the finals still went to heal off, which I just find insane. With no siphon and no mobility, one of the main advantages to those two things should be at least the fact that the end games end before heal off. But even without that, it is still somehow going there. I'm guessing because of the legendary slurps, and everyone's been so used to now playing heal off that they're just still playing it. I think potentially the removal of siphon is not having the same impact that Epic wanted. I'm guessing they wanted games to die out a little bit. They wanted third parties to be more prevalent, but what's happening is I'm guessing players are too scared to take fights now, knowing that if they get third party or if they have an unlucky engagement without siphon, they're going to go down. So it's actually leading players to be less aggressive, and there's less people dying in the mid game because of it. Also, they did remove splashes as well, so they've removed a major med from the game, and we're still going to heal off. Now, as far as the server performance, it was not looking good. I wish I could tell you servers were looking amazing, things were great. Because of the no mobility, it's all moving really smoothly. It's not. The game looked as laggy as last season. I really hope they can make some kind of changes to it this season, because especially with weapons like the drum shotgun, the combat SMG back, it's very, very frustrating when players just lag into your box and hold down left click and take you down. But at the same time, it does still look like players were running a very similar meta to last season. Even with the new assault rifles, new SMGs, it seems like the go-to competitive meta is still Red Eye, Havoc shotgun, and then either some form of triple meds. You can still run the Flapjack AR if you want, especially if you don't need surge. It's still very, very good. Some players are opting to run the drum shotgun, but they're not having the best success with it. Just in duos with the Havoc shotgun being so strong, it's really, really hard to get in someone's box and use it effectively when they're a good player and they can easily just hit you for 180, and there's often two of them together. It just doesn't really seem to be working as well as what a lot of people were hoping, or potentially not hoping for. Just adding this in here because I've woken up this morning and Fortnite has made a major change. They have vaulted the Red Eye assault rifle and unvaulted the MK7, which is going to have a big impact on the competitive meta. Instead of getting surged now by just sitting in gigantic towers as Red Eye tagging everyone across the map, it's going to be a lot more about taking advantage of close to mid-range engagements, either with the Flapjack rifle or the MK7. Neither of these are incredibly good at long range. I actually think with this change, the Flapjack rifle might be the preferred assault rifle of the season now, because the single shot damage of the MK7 just isn't that good despite having the red dot, whereas the Flapjack rifle, even though it is meant for spraying and having a big clip size, it does actually have decent first shot accuracy and decent long range damage. That might be the go-to, but this is going to completely change the way people play competitive. For the last 2 seasons now, the surge strat has been finding the closest hill to your spawn, building up a giant tower and just sitting there all game. This has also helped a lot of controller players, as you guys probably know, long range aim assist on PC controller is just awful, but the Red Eye was able to help that a little bit. With the Red Eye no longer in the game now, that is going to be a lot more difficult for controller teams to get their surge. They're going to have to be very, very aggressive, and I think that's what Epic wants. I think they want teams to be more aggressive for their surge, which will hopefully lead to the games being a little bit less stacked and not going to heal off like I just talked about. If you're not a fan of no mobility, don't worry, I have some potentially good news. Firstly, there are rumors that we are going to have either the grapple glove or the shockwave hammer or both added to the game. iFire Monkey has tweeted about both of these. There are currently quests for the shockwave hammer revealed this season, and they've just updated the game so that there's an NPC that's going to sell the grapple glove. This could mean they're coming back to the game for competitive, but it also could mean they're just coming back as part of a summer unvaulting session. We've had this a lot in the past where for summer they have a whole bunch of items that come back into the game and they never make it into competitive. So those items might come back, and I really hope the grapple glove does. I think the grapple glove is a very, very good balanced form of mobility. Also, I have my own theory that I really do think the katana was supposed to be in the game right now. The katana was taken out last season towards the end because of a really, really bad bug where you could pretty much make the game think that your internet went out and then just katana around the map killing everyone, and there's nothing they could do about it. The glitch was so bad they actually had to remove katanas from the game mid-season, even though it was a pivotal part of the storyline, which Epic almost never does. And if you look at the current map, all the places the katanas are supposed to spawn are all still there. It really does make me think the katana was meant to still be in the game, but this bug is so bad they can't put it back. So fingers crossed that one of these 3 mobility items is coming to the game or supposed to be in the game, because I personally am not really a huge fan of no mobility metas, especially when there is no siphon as well. If a team decides to be stupid and hold you on the backside of zone rotating, even if you beat them in the fight with no siphon and no mobility, you just both end up dying, and it's a very, very annoying situation to be in. Now, let's talk about what is going on with these new team swaps. In case you guys missed it, Acorn and Cold have officially split. Cold said that despite them playing well, he just feels like the vibes aren't quite there and he thinks he could do better with someone else, so he is now going to play with Epic Whale. This one seems like a mutual splitting. I'm guessing Acorn didn't want to split, but he respects Cold's decision, and he himself is looking for a new duo partner, and it looks like he's potentially picked up Poyo. Now, if you guys don't know, Poyo and Sphinx just actually qualified for the global championships themselves, but this now puts them in an awkward situation as Sphinx does not want to split with Poyo. He has said that he wants to hold on to his global championship spot. He still wants to go to the LAN event, even if their vibes are a little bit off. He doesn't think he might be able to qualify again. He's not as confident as Acorn or Cold to be able to qualify, and this puts them in a super awkward position. If you guys don't know how it works, if a team has already qualified for the $4 million LAN at the end of the year, the only way that team can disband is if they both sign a form and send it to Epic, officially disbanding and giving up their qualification spot. So this is now going to be a very, very awkward situation going forward, because either Sphinx now holds on to Poyo and keeps him hostage, which means they're now forced to play together where the vibes would be terrible, and they're going to go to the LAN and probably not even qualify, because if you guys don't know, the LAN has top 75 duos going, and only the top 50 are actually going to make it into the finals. They're running a LAN qualification at the event, so they might not even be able to play in the finals anyway. So he's basically holding him hostage just to get a trip to Copenhagen. But on the other side of things, he's earned that spot. He deserves to have it, and maybe if Poyo just kind of focuses up and they play together, they will end up performing better. But obviously Poyo feels like he has a better chance to perform with Acorn and is willing to give up that spot, trusting the fact they'll probably get top 10 this major, or they'll qual in the next one. This is not going to be the last time we're going to see this happen before these seasons are over. Before Global Championship, I guarantee there is going to be some major drama of teams splitting in this similar situation. This obviously leaves now Reet without a teammate as well, so there's a lot of rumors about where he's going to go. Some people were saying that Scented is going to drop Clix and end up playing with Reet. Apparently that's no longer happening. There is a whole bunch of new teams forming at the moment, and when I've guaranteed them all, when I've locked them all in, I'll put it in another video for you guys.